Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Phantasy Star on the Wii Virtual Console. It's time for our party to head to Medusa's tower to avenge Odin, who, before the game began, was turned into stone by Medusa. Odin was searching for the Laconian axe, and unfortunately Medusa turned him into stone, but now Odin has the mirror shield, and he's has some friends with him, so he is more than a match for Medusa now. However, this tower will be pretty difficult to get through. We're going to take 2 trips to go through. There's a basement where there's a bunch of treasure, and there's a way to the northwest that leads halfway up the tower. We're going to do them later. Our main goal right now is to just take the pathway to the top of the tower, the 10th floor, to fight Medusa. Actually, Medusa's on the 9th floor. The 10th floor is really short. You just make a quick detour to get to the 10th floor. The 10th floor is empty though. It has one treasure chest that's empty, so it's kind of pointless to go there. But I'll be getting all the treasure chests in here just to 100% the game, which unfortunately includes a lot of treasure chests in here that are trapped and empty. So that's going to, of course, hinder our resources, because we're going to have to be curing a bunch of times to heal that damage from the traps and from the enemies. Got some pretty tough enemies in here. We got the same type of enemies who are in the tower where we got the Laconian swords, so we got those marauders that can cast the thunder spell. We also have some tough hitting enemies like the Reapers and the Centaurs that we saw in the gas cloud on Matavia when we went to that village. So, yeah, a lot of tough monsters in here, and like I said, it's a really long tower. So, thankfully there are a few, like, weaker monsters scattered in between, so not every single random encounter is going to end with a difficult monster. But we do run into enough difficult monsters that, like I said, it's going to take 2 trips to get through this to get all the treasure. So, yeah, pretty difficult tower, but that's how the game ends. It's a good preparation for the final dungeons, because they're pretty long, and there's the penultimate dungeon is like basically like 2 dungeons in a row, right after another. So kind of let to learn your characters, what you're gonna need. So we're gonna have to, of course, next time we do that, when we go through those final dungeons, we're gonna have to stock up on more burgers. So basically have the whole inventory full of burgers. So, because we got, unfortunately I ran a little short. I actually had to use some of Alice's hit point, magic points for healing. We got that low, and I wasn't able to hold on to those 8 magic points to use the fly spell to get back to Gothic. So we had to trek it the long way to Gothic. But thankfully the monsters outside, unlike the monsters inside here, aren't that difficult. So even at low hit points, we were able to make our way back to Gothic to save the game and restock up for our second venture into this tower. So this is where the flute comes in handy. We've been using that pretty much at the end of every single dungeon to warp us out of the dungeon. Basically cuts down on our travel time by half, because you never have to walk out of dungeons. We can always just use that flute to warp us out. So no, we just keep walking around here. Like I said, no real new enemies to encounter here. There are new enemies on the basement floor, but like I said, we're not going to that basement floor in this episode. We'll do it in the next episode when we finish off the tower. So the only new enemy we're going to really encounter in here is at the end, Medusa. But like I said, the ones we are encountering are pretty tough, so make sure you keep track of your hit points here, like I am here. So, luckily Medusa isn't that tough of a boss. You almost think that like some of the enemies, like the marauders and stuff, are tougher because they have that thunder spell that can hurt everybody. So if need be, feel free to use Noah's cure spells to heal your party up too. I'm gonna try to save them though for offensive spells in battle. When it comes down to it, don't feel that you have to save all of Noah's MP for battle against Medusa, because Medusa is not that difficult. I said she's more of a gimmick boss, I guess, where if you don't have the mirror shield, you know, she's just going to turn you all to stone, but luckily we have that Myau shield, because we visited that town on Latavia. We're told where to find it, so we had to donate the 400 Mercedes, though, to the town, though, because it needs some relief, but that's okay. 400 ain't that hard to get at this point in the game. What is hard to get, though, is that 12,000 Mercedes that we need. Like I said, before we head to Dazors, we want to have that 12,000 Mercedes, because we're going to need to buy another vehicle to get through the ice there. So, ice digger. Dazors is kind of small in where you can go until you buy this vehicle that allows you to dig through a whole bunch of ice. And that really opens up the planet, but thankfully this long dungeon and the dungeon before this one that was also long with the Laconian sword should give us a whole bunch of Mercedes to buy that vehicle. Sadly, the treasure chests aren't. Even the treasure chests that do have treasure in them, most of them are pretty like worthless. They're like 10, 20 Mercedes. Seems like all the good Mercedes boxes were hidden in secret passages. And there are no secret passages in this dungeon, so there's a few trap floors though, but we're gonna avoid all of them because I have the map. So there's maps on RPG Classics, Game FAQs, and then on a Phantasy Star Wiki. That one has the best one. It has all the they're a little confusing laid out wise, but it has the best in terms of finding the hidden passages. Some of them on RPG Classics and Game FAQs don't have the secret passages. Like I said, the Phantasy Star Wiki ones, they're kind of poorly labeled. So I used a combination of both of them to get through all these dungeons. Got some treasure here. A lot of the treasures are right off. That's one good blessing. You don't have to go deep into the hallway to find the treasures. You just have to make a quick turn and they're there. So here we are on the 10th floor here. We're just taking a quick detour here. Then we're going to head back down to the floor below. That's where we're actually going to find Medusa. I just want to go up here that way. As soon as I'm done with Medusa, I can use that flute to warp on out. So yeah, see, totally empty treasure chest, but like I said, I just want to get it so that if I ever come back to this game and decide if we'll ever even wander around it, all the treasure chests are emptied and removed, so satisfies that obsessive compulsiveness. Sell some flashes when we're done here. Eventually one of the caves are going to have our own magic lantern, but we were able to afford that a long time ago, so. Alright, so this door leads us to Medusa. We want to heal ourselves up here before we head in. Might make a safety save as well, just to be safe. Feel free to use your burgers if you're low on MP. I look like I have enough there. Like I said, I won't need that much MP from Noah to defeat Medusa, so I'll use some of his cure spells. And we'll save our game just to be safe. You never know what tricks the boss might do, and you don't have to go through this tower again. But luckily for us, Medusa falls fairly easily. The only thing that would have made it easy is if I would have been able to have Alice's rope spell work. Rope, like we used on Dr. Mad, basically binds the enemy up so they can't move. They basically, like, you lose several of their turns. So that's the cheap way to beat Medusa early without the Myau shield. If you get here and you get really, really lucky, you can use the rope spell and tie Medusa up and hopefully finish her off before she escapes the rope bindings. But we didn't get lucky. She avoided all the rope spells, but she didn't avoid Noah's wind spells, and we take her down, and we get the Laconian axe, Odin's best axe and the strongest weapon in the game. Actually has 20 more attack power than Alice's Laconian sword. But like I said, Odin, he can miss a lot with that axe, and it only hits one enemy. So we're gonna go back in here, just do a little bit more. Like I said, there's two options we can do. We can do the basement, which is pretty long, or we can do the northwest passage. So we're gonna go through the northwest passage, and then we'll just finish the basement next episode. And then there's also kind of like a mini dungeon that we haven't done here, and we'll do that in the next episode. Finish up everything we need to do here on, for the most part, on Palma, before we head off to Dazorus, the ice planet. We have a lot of stuff left to do on Dazorus. Actually, when we head back to Dazorus, I'm gonna go back to the first town, Skur, and just re-talk with all the people there, because it's been so long since we talked to them, and they're gonna give a little bit of an idea of some of the things we need to find and gather on Dazorus. So get rid of some of these flashes that we have here. Just clog up inventory. Yes, if you really were like hoping for inventory space, you can end up selling that Land Rover. You need to sell the Laconian axe because we're not going to be using them. That'll get you space for 2 more burgers, but I don't think we'll be that hooked for inventory space when we make our final approach near the end game. So even though we have all of Dazorus to cover yet, for the most part, other than that one town we did, once we get to Dazorus, we're going to be there the entire time, so it's not going to be jumping back and forth. It's pretty much a straight line doing all the stuff we need to do there. So, and the dungeons, 2 of the dungeons are very short. They're 1-floor dungeons each. So it's kind of a nice little break after having all these really long, complicated dungeons to just have 2 nice, short little dungeons. So yeah, Dazorus is more like a planet full of mini dungeons. You have all the tunnels that you need to go through to get to each individual town. Between areas, you need to go through mini dungeons, tunnels, and then the dungeons themselves. There's 3 of them, and 2 of them are, very short. So, luckily, one of them that's short is where we get the ultimate armor, the Laconia armor, and that'll end up going on Odin. That's his best armor. And the Laconian shield we get from one of the more complicated dungeons. That'll end up going on Alice. And that'll be our full gear endgame equipment. Just dropping the burgers, dropping the flashes, using the burgers that we can, So the only thing that's bad is that there's no item that restores magic points in this game. Like Final Fantasy has ethers and elixirs. Yeah, you're only stuck with those 2 healing items, the colas and the burgers. So, which in Japan have a much different name, but I guess they really Americanized it over here. Just make colas and burgers. So, I don't know why you want to eat a burger though that you found sitting in a treasure chest. Who knows how long it's been sitting there, but good thing our guys, I guess, have a hardy constitution and don't take damage from poisonous food or spoiled food. So, yeah, some type of medicine in the Japanese translation. But this one here, it's also a little bit, I think, more violent. They use a little bit more violent language, especially you see that in the beginning cutscene when they with Nero and Alice. So, but the plot's basically still the same. So, this door here. Luckily, this thing we only have to go up half the tower because you can see we are really hurting on things. 5 Mercedes, yeah, totally worthless to get all this stuff. But unfortunately, like I said, Obsessive Compulsive says I have to get everything, and so I am. So, trying to save that 8 MP there for Alice, but we're unfortunately going to run into a whole bunch of Marauders, and they're not very nice. They start using that Thunder spell. So I actually end up using the buy spell that Alice has. That guarantees that you'll be able to run from battle. Noah's Wand also allows you to run from battle. You can use it as an item, but only if it's not equipped. It has to be in your inventory, and right now, unfortunately, he has it equipped. We're going to get a free one later on, so that'll be an option later on. I won't ever have to use the buy spell, but I didn't want to risk not being able to run, so I unfortunately used the buy spell, which means that, like I said, I'm going to have to trek all the way back to Gothic. But the Gothic the enemies outside ain't as bad as the ones in here, so yeah, you don't want to die in a dungeon and lose all that progress. So I guess I could have been more safe and save more often in the dungeon. But I don't know, just from playing role-playing games like Final Fantasies and Dragon Quests, where you don't have that option all the time to save, it just seems kind of cheating to save like all the time. Games like this, games like the Final Fantasy Legend games. Phantasy Star II, you don't get the chance to save all the time everywhere. You have to save back at the town, but you do end up getting. There's a secret item that you can get that will allow you to save pretty much everywhere. I'm on the fence about doing the remaining Phantasy Star games. Haven't played much of them, so I have to replay them and do test runs of them, and the way it takes me so long to get through some of these games, you know. I have like 4 years worth of games ahead of me, so I may or may not get to them. If I do get them, it'll be much later. And much later is when we're going to come back here to close out that the basement. But for now, you can see these first 2 trips through the tower have exhausted us, so I'm going to actually head back to Kamanit, the original town, stop at Sula's house there, heal up there, because I mentioned earlier there's like a small little mini dungeon that we didn't do, and I'm going to go there just, you don't have to go there until the end of the game, but it's basically a prison, and there's some prisoners there who have a little bit of information about stuff you can do on Dazors, so I figured I'd go there just to get those hints and clues, and then come back. So yeah, next episode I'll go to that little dungeon, get the clues and stuff. There's also 2 like mini bosses there, so I figure I could take them out now, because when we finally have to go through that dungeon to advance the plot, we don't want to waste our resources fighting those mini bosses, because as we call it, we're going to save our resources for the tower at the end of that dungeon. So, just checking out, do we have some inventory that we need to sell? Nope, we dropped all those flashes, so we're good. So we'll end up restocking on burgers eventually. But we'll take advantage of Sulu's help. Apparently, it was cut from this game, but apparently Alice and that Sulu were like noses. That's why that nose can heal you there. That's why Alice has that healing spell, because she has some skill at healing, because her job before, she decided to take out the Tyrant King Lassic was as a nose, so. But now she's saving the world, and that's what we're going to be doing in our next episode. Take care, have a good one, have a good day. Take care, bye.